Freemen did on Christmas Eve and were met by Saint Peter at the pearly gates. In honor of this holy season, Saint Peter said, "You must each present something that symbolizes Christmas to get into heaven." The first man fumbled through his pockets and pulled out a lighter. He flicked it on. "It represents a candle," he said. "You may pass through the pearly gates," Saint Peter said. The second man reached into his pocket and pulled out his car keys. He shook them and said, "They are bells." Saint Peter said, "You may pass through the pearly gates." The third man started searching desperately through his pockets and finally pulled out a pair of women's panties straight. Peter looked at the man with a raised eyebrow and asked, "And just what do those symbolize?" The man replied, "They are a carol as."
Skinny little white Irishman goes into an elevator, looks up and sees this huge black guy standing next to him. The big guy sees the little Irishman staring at him. He looks down and says, 8 feet tall, 350 pounds, 20-inch penis, 3 pounds of testicles, Turner Brown. The little white Irishman faints and falls to the floor. The big guy kneels down, shakes him, and brings him to. The big guy says, "No, what's wrong with you?" In a weak voice the little guy says, "What exactly did you say to me?" The big dude says, "Yeah, I saw your curious look and I figured I'd just give you the answers to the questions everyone always asks me. I'm 7 feet tall, I weigh 350 pounds, I have a 20-inch penis, my testicles weigh 3 pounds each, and my name is Turner Brown." The little white Irishman says, "Turner Brown? Fuck me, I thought you said turn around." Mr. Carrot and Mr. Parsnip were having a beer, swapping tales and just shooting the breeze. After a short silence, Carrot says, "You know what, I was with Miss Cauliflower last night and I couldn't get it up." Mr. Floppy, soft on, flaccid as a very flaccid used condom. "Crikey mate, that's bad news. Hey, you haven't been playing around with Miss Sweet Pea, have you?" Parsnip asks, all concerned. "No, haven't touched her," says Carrot. "What about Miss Broccoli? You know what they say about her." "No, I would touch Miss Broccoli. Yuck." "Mom, have you ever slept with Mrs. Cabbage? She gets around, you know." "Nope, I wouldn't sleep with that slut," says Carrot. "Ah, well, I see your problem then. You haven't been getting your greens." Little Johnny was sitting in class doing math problems when his teacher picked him to answer a question. "Johnny, if there were 5 birds sitting on a fence and you shot one with your gun, how many would be left?" "None," replied Johnny, "'cause the rest would fly away." "Well, the answer is 4, said the teacher, "but I like the way you are thinking." Little Johnny says, "I have a question for you now. If there were 3 women eating ice cream cones in a shop, one was licking her cone, the second was biting the cone, and the third was sucking the cone, which one is married?" "Well," said the teacher nervously, "I guess the one sucking the cone." "No," said little Johnny, "the one with the wedding ring on her finger, but I like the way you are thinking." Mr. Cadbury and Miss Rowntree met on a double-decker. It was after 8. She was from Quality Street, he was a fisherman's friend. On the way home they stopped at a Yorkie bar. He had a rum and butter, she had a wine gum. He asked her name. "Polo, I am the one with the hole," she said. "I am the one with the nuts," he thought, then he touched her Milky Way. They checked into a hotel and went straight to the bedroom. Mr. Cadbury turned out the light for a bit of black magic. It wasn't too long before he slipped his hand into her Snickers and felt her cream egg. He fondled her flapjacks, then he showed her his curly whirly and Tic Tacs. Miss Rowntree wasn't too keen to have any jelly babies, so she let him take a trip down Burnville Boulevard Viaduct, her party ring. He was quite pleased as he always fancied a bit of fudge, then he gave her a boost. It was a magic moment as she let out a scream of Turkish delight. When he pulled out, his king-size Mars bar felt a bit crunchy. She wanted more but he needed a timeout. However, he noticed her pink wafers looked very appetizing. He did a twirl, had a picnic in her sherbet dip and finished off by giving her a gobstopper. Unfortunately, Mr. Cadbury then had to go home to his wife, Caramel. Sadly, he was soon to discover he had D. It turned out Miss Rowntree had been with Bertie Bassett, who apparently had all sorts. Please subscribe and leave a like for daily stories.